Hi there. I hope you're doing well. You know, as I was spending some time with God recently, I was reminded of how much God loves us, loves me. Not too many weeks ago was Easter. It was a great reminder for me also. Not just that He loves us, but that He treasures us and He delights in us, and He seeks to have us in a relationship with Him. Easter was just a great reminder for me of the lengths that God would go to make a way possible for us to have a relationship with Him. Not just to know about Him, but to know Him intimately and to really have a relationship with Him. That was just a great reminder for me. I think it's easy to fall into a rut and to get into kind of our normal routine and to forget, the truth. Especially right now, in the midst of quarantine or stay at home or whatever you want to call it. It's easy to fall in the rut of identifying and dwelling on all the inconveniences and the annoyances of these current circumstances. In fact, that can become our normal state if we allow it, if we're not careful. And so it's good for us to be reminded, because there is another way to live. There is a way that allows us to live in joy in the midst of chaotic circumstances. I was reminded of this as I was reading through the book of Colossians. And in Colossians 2, 6 through 7, it says this: "So then, just as you received Jesus Christ as Lord, continue to live your lives in Him, rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness." This idea of thankfulness, it permeates the Bible, especially the Old Testament, and even more particularly Paul's letters. We see this in Colossians, later in Colossians, in chapter 3, verses 15 and 17. We see this in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20. We see this later still in Colossians 4, 2. We see this in 1 Thessalonians 5, 18. And we just see this time and time again. This is the idea of thankfulness. Thankfulness. Be thankful. And so, oftentimes we kind of save that for November, around Thanksgiving time. And I want to encourage you to be thankful now. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of quarantine, what are some things that you're thankful for? But I also want you to be thinking about what are some ways that you've seen God at work? How have you seen Him show up? So here are a few questions that I want you to think about and reflect on for the rest of the day or the rest of the week or whatever. Maybe even journal about it. Sit down with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever it is you like to drink and just ponder and really reflect on these questions. Where have you seen God at work in your life today or this week? Where have you seen God at work in your life today or this week? Second question is this: what do you have to be thankful for? What is it that in the midst of these crazy times you can just sit back and say, God, thank you. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. What is it that you still have to be thankful for? So I think when we focus on where God is at work and what we have to be thankful for, it changes our whole outlook. It changes our whole attitude. And we begin to see things differently. And we begin to feel things differently. So in the midst of chaos and stress, we can still feel joy. We can still feel peace because we know that God is at work and we have so much to be thankful for. I hope you're all doing well. And I want to challenge you and encourage you to fix your eyes on Jesus, especially in the midst of these crazy times. Be well. God's blessings.